questions from the committee. We'll take this to, can you raise your hand if you'd like to speak to this in the public? Looks like we have 1, 2. Let's keep them up. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted 9. How many do we have online? We have 3. So we have 12 that would like to speak to it. We'll do minute and a half each. Let's go ahead and fill up the seats up there if you're here. And then if you'd like to speak, go ahead and fill up. We're giving you a minute and a half each, and we'll get it started. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Spencer Hansen. I'm an addiction psychiatrist, and over the last 4 years in my outpatient clinic, I've learned a lot about Kratom from people who use it. They come in and ask for help to get off of it. And so after talking to them over the last 4 years, I've learned that it works very similar to fentanyl and heroin. And by and large, most of the treatment choices that we use to get them off Kratom are with medications that we use for fentanyl use disorder and heroin use disorder. And it's a significant burden on the body and the brain. And it's a procedure that lasts quite a few months, if not a few years. My latest case is a mother of 5, marathon runner, very strong runner, just ran the Boston Marathon last year. She says this has really kicked her butt. And she came in asking for help to get off the product. I probably just finished with my clinical opinion that with the current products available in Utah, probably about 1 in 10 individuals are at really high risk of a Kratom use disorder. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments.
Gail Rosica with Utah Eagle Forum.
Oh, sorry. Could we, Representative Peterson has a question. Could we go ahead, Representative Peterson?
To the therapist. Sorry, over here. Question for you. I'm still learning about this Kratom, but I've heard stories like you've just said that it creates an addiction, and I've heard other stories that it helps cure an addiction. And I'm wondering if you could address that from your professional standpoint.
Yeah, I think there are a number of individuals who are able to move away from other substances with Kratom. And I really applaud and congratulate, their ability to do that. But I still think there are a significant number of individuals who will be crippled and disabled trying to use Kratom to get off another substance.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Gail Rosica with Utah Eagle Forum. Many of you, and I think all of you, received invitations from us last week to attend a documentary on Kratom. And I just wanted to quickly mention what went on in that documentary. It was not a documentary of propaganda, but it was a documentary of individual stories. Every single story was told by a mother, a father, a brother or sister of their family member who became addicted to Kratom, thinking that they were taking a healthy substance that was going to help build their muscles and make them feel better after they've exercised. And in each story, their family member had died. And I always wanted to do a little show and tell today, because I have here just 3 products. I have lots I could show you that were purchased in the gas stations here in Utah. This one's called Donuts Kratom Extract Raspberry Jelly, something that would definitely appeal to children. This one's called Cryptic Kratom Extract, and that is, of course, the capsules that are filled with the Kratom. But this one is called Crava Shot. And as we watched that documentary, this was the type that most of them had used. One mother said she found her son's nightstand, after he passed away, full of these little bottles. Each one of these are extract, and this is a pineapple orange Crava Shot. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Ryan Nidell with Diversified Botanics. You'll see in front of you a potential leave behind for the members of the House that is supporting scientific data that will share facts around my testimony. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'll be brief and stick to the facts to the best of my ability. There's been a large amount of theatrics around this situation, this conversation, and a lot of conjecture. My goal is to cut through that and just present the facts. It has been cited that there's been approximately 160 stated deaths that have kratom involved over the past 5 years. That is a 43% increase. What's not been told to you is that the vast majority of those deaths have involved fentanyl, methamphetamines, alcohol, and other drugs. The CDC has conducted their own level of research to show that 92% of kratom positive deaths consume multiple other lethal substances. When you correct for that, you're looking to 2 or 3 arbitratable deaths out of 3.4 million people, which is still too many, but a relatively small number. Now, if we consider the global context of this, over the same 5-year period in conversation, the kratom consumer base in the United States has grown from roughly 2 million consumers to 20 million consumers, a 10-fold increase. So if you look as a percentage growth, the industry is growing 10 times quicker than the amount of stated kratom involved deaths. The facts are not exactly what is being presented. This is not an epidemic. It's actually a declining rate in percentage deaths overall. There are more people consuming kratom now than ever before, with a lower percentage of them having any adverse effects. You've been told that kratom's a narcotic and is addictive, just like an opioid. That isn't exactly true. There's been multiple studies conducted by NIDA, by any number of regulatory bodies that have been governmentally funded to show that in an 8-factor analysis, which is the gold standard for determining the abuse potential of any consumable product, the kratom does not meet the standard for an 8-factor analysis to go through schedule 1, 2, or 3, meaning it's not stated to be harmful. This has been proven multiple times with more than 100 case studies. And in 2022, sharing from the Frontier for, don't want to misquote it, it's in the packet. I'll just make sure I don't misquote. So I know I'm at time, I can continue on. But even as we look at the conversation around 7-OH and the conversion, I think it's very important to state how this actually works. When you consume kratom, full spectrum, all present kratom, at best you have 30% bioavailability. That 30% bioavailability, your body metabolizes it. As it processes through your body, like everything else, a small percentage converts to 7-OH.
Thank you. Mr. Plum,
Mr. Chairman, I have 3 pictorial exhibits in the room.
can you bring that closer to you?
Mr. Chairman, I have 3 pictorial exhibits that I have with me, and I just wanted to know if I had permission to say them. Walter Plum from Drug Safe Utah.
I think we're gonna pass on that if that's
Okay.
okay.
So my kratom not only is addictive, but it affects other organs in the body, including the kidney, the liver, and the circulatory system. I have a daughter, my oldest daughter, about 54 years old. 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, was told to use this as an energy booster, and she started in a tea form. It wasn't an extract, it was metragenine. She had pre-existing high blood pressure. Her blood pressure went to 180. I took her to the University of Utah Hospital. We met with the physician, and in the process of her interview, they asked her, "Are you using kratom?" She said, yes, she was using kratom. She was unable to stop. It resulted in a stroke and about 4 months of rehab at the University of Utah Hospital Center. This is dangerous. If you go into a gas station, it's marketed as just like 5-hour energy with no warnings about addiction or any of these other issues. This bill should be supported. Extract should not be allowed in the state of Utah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we had a question, Representative Wilcox, for the other gentleman. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That was your name, Ryan, as well?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me, I got a couple questions actually, Mr. Chair. First one though, can you just tell us a little bit about your testing, what kind of the testing process you're going through?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we believe that the product should be tested not only when it arrives in our facility in Draper, Utah, where we have roughly 100 full-time employees have been in business for 14 plus years and have generated in between 85 and 90 million in annualized revenue to add to the tax base in Utah. So we test rigorously when products land in our facility. We test for not only third-party contaminants, but also for the proper alkaloid profile that should be in naturally occurring kratom. Those products are quarantined and not able to be moved through our facility until the testing comes back from a validated third party, confirming the fact that there's no contaminants, no solvents, no lead, nothing that could be harmful to a human being, plus that it makes the standard alkaloid profile that should be found in naturally occurring kratom. As the product then moves through our production facility, when we pick it off the shelf to begin to turn it into a consumable good, when we blend products together, we retest them to confirm the fact that there's been no potential adulterant added to the process, because we do make both extracts and powder and capsule-based products. During that process, once that testing comes back as validated with no contaminants, no adulterants, then we go through our production process where we take inline retains at 5 bottles per hour, every hour we're producing, to confirm the fact that nothing's interacted with the product during that process. We're still not done with our testing protocol yet, because it's required that we then retain not only those for intra-production testing, but also finished good testing that has lot codes that are validated end to end. So that product doesn't leave our facility until the final testing comes back from a third party yet once again for alkaloid profile, contaminants, and anything that could be harmful to a human being.
So the testing primarily is focused on really what you're producing, I guess, here in Utah.
That's right.
Where you're Draper at. Okay, so it's focused on that, but then it's also included, you said third-party testing. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is? Who's the third party?
Yeah, so we have used multiple different third-party arbiters before. We currently are using a combination of ARL as a third-party testing facility, as well as Cambria Analytics. Those take 2 to 3 days in transit to get product to those individuals. They're FDA registered third-party testing facilities for any type of consumable good. So they're running their own analysis on not only what's in the product, but also the alkaloid profiles and anything that could have entered into the product during production. So then that takes roughly 14 days between shipping the product to them, their 7-day process, because it takes time for it to cure, then for them to give us back the results, for us to take it off of quarantine hold and to make it available for retail sale.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have a couple other questions. Representative Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you explain the difference from your perspective? And it may have been stated, I came in late, so I apologize. What the difference between kratom extract is and pure leaf kratom?
Absolutely. This is such a challenging conversation. We sell both. And I can appreciate the challenge that all of you would have to make sense of this, as I've been a part of our business for 6 years. And I'm just now really getting our hands wrapped around how it works. So kratom leaf is regional to Indonesia and Thailand. It grows on a tree. It's actually in the coffee family. If you look at where the origin of the plant is, it's very comparable to coffee. From the nature of that kratom leaf, depending on the age of the tree, the region of the world, and what's in the soil, when that leaf comes over and it's tested, we see as much as a 30% variance in the chemical composition of that leaf. We see heavy metals in some products. We see a vast array of alkaloid profiles, which the FDA does allow a 20% variance on label, but we hone it into the best of our ability without adulterating the product. So by the nature of that, leaf has 52 different components to it: alkaloids, subalkaloids, and metabolites, as they're referred to. As we look at extract, all that happens during the extraction process in our facility is we take those leaves and we pull them down using food-grade solvents to make a more, what would be deemed potent. We don't look at it as potent, we look at it as concentrated and pure product. The reason I say concentrated and pure is because during our extraction process, we can hone in that variance from a 30% variance to a sub 1% variance. So our product is incredibly consistent across the board. It has the same alkaloid profile as naturally occurring kratom leaf, but then has less variance from batch to batch or lot to lot. I think where the real issue becomes is not having a standard serving size across the board. If you want to take a concentrated extra strength Tylenol, I don't think that extra strength Tylenol would necessarily be bad, but it should have its own serving size associated with it. We believe inside of Diversified Botanics, there should be a standard serving size across the industry to allow a consumer to say, do I want to take 10 grams of leaf material, or do I want to take 2 droppers of an extract product? As long as the alkaloid profile would be consistent, I would make the argument that extract is a more consistent and predictable experience than leaf material.
Thank you, Representative Thurston.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Super K Extract Strong?
I am.
What is the standard recommended whatever amount that a person should take of that?
Yes, absolutely. So Super K Extra Strong is our largest concentrated product by volume, right? So it's a 30 milliliter bottle that we produce. All of our product comes out of our facility. It has metered servings, so droppers that are associated with it, and has standard serving sizes of 25 milligrams of metragenine, no matter what product leaves. So inside Super K Extra Strong, a serving size we recommend is 25 milligrams, and 25 milligrams on Super K Extra Strong, if I recall, might be 2 droppers worth.
Okay, so would it surprise you to know that that looks an awful lot like a 24-hour energy shot and people might be drinking the whole bottle all at once?
Well, I would leave that up to interpretation. Our Super K Extra Strong product is sold behind the counter, very clearly is in a box that says 21 and over, is a purple-based product, is in a glass bottle, and has a dropper on the top. So I don't know that someone would naturally confuse that with 5-hour energy. That's a small bottle that's plastic that's sold in front of the counter. If someone does, I wouldn't know exactly how to help solve that because we very clearly put 21 and over on every product and clearly have warnings of not to consume more than 150 milligrams of stated consumption in a 24-hour period.
Okay, so you think it's not safe to take more than 150 milligrams in a 24-hour period?
I think we would have to determine what safe ultimately means. And I'll refer to the single ascending dose study that the FDA conducted on Kratom itself. During the single ascending dose study that the FDA conducted, which came to the marketplace in late 23, they did a single ascending dose study up to 12 grams of consumption of Kratom. In 12 grams of consumption of Kratom with a 1.25% metragenine content per volume, you end up with about 150 milligrams of metragenine in your body in one serving size. So what we've taken is a stance of saying if the FDA saw no adverse effects whatsoever in 12 grams of consumption, that it would stand within reason that if someone consumed that much in one day of extract product, they would also see no adverse effects. So to say safe versus an established metric for lack of harm as it pertains to the FDA single ascending dose study, it makes sense to us that 150 milligrams of consumption should be the max recommended in a day.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Go to who is next? In the middle there? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Matt Acey. I represent a manufacturing company based out of Linden, Utah, and we manufacture products that contain Kratom in it. My testimony here today is pretty simple. I am in support of this bill to an extent that we are allowed to continue manufacturing the products that we manufacture. As the way that the bill is currently stated, we will not be able to manufacture the products that we produce today. We represent about 100 employees, and we also represent nearly $100 million. Kratom represents about 40% of our business base. And if we are unable to produce here, we've already taken action to determine if we will leave the state along with the business that we have with us. So my ask of the committee today is that you table this conversation so we can agree upon what is the definition of Kratom. What is the definition of Kratom leaf? Because the way that it's proposed as of today, it would make my operation illegal. Thank you.
We have a question from the chair.
I'm sorry, where did you say your business is located?
We're based out of Linden, Utah.
Linden.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Mac Haddo. I'm with the American Kratom Association. When I sat in your seat 45 years ago in this body, I heard a witness sitting in this seat say, if there's anything I say in the next couple of minutes that you don't agree with or don't think is correct, ask me. And I'm in that position because I don't have a lot of time. I can tell you first that there is no such thing as a legal product of a concentrate in hundreds of milligrams in the state of Utah because the current Kratom Consumer Protection Act bars it. You can only use food grade solvents which have limited extraction capability in order to produce the concentrated or extracts properly produced at under 100 milligrams. It just doesn't exist and it can be enforced. Secondly, 7-OH conversion, as been described in the liver, is vastly different with the natural plant. In small amounts, it does convert. When you take a 7-OH product, it's like hitting your liver with a freight train, and its significant impacts are different, to the point that 7-OH manufacturers are now doing sublingual tablets and strips in order to bypass the liver entirely because they want to go right to your bloodstream. 7-OH is unstable. And so when a person dies, you're not going to detect it in a post-mortem investigation unless you do it rapidly, and that's the problem. There are KCPAs that are being enacted today in the United States, including in Wyoming. The Senate just passed it, not a ban, a KCPA. Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, and Oregon have already passed a KCPA, and I'm going to be in Idaho tomorrow testifying on a KCPA bill. So it's inaccurate to suggest that this material is not being done. Control this at the point of sale, not banning consumers in Utah who responsibly use Kratom products.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am. You're up.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, my name is Laura Romney, and I'm here as a consumer. I'm a 9-year consumer of natural holy kratom for my facial nerve disease called trigeminal neuralgia. It's truly been life-changing for me. I'll tell you, it's been really hard for me to sit back here today. It's been very emotional because I've heard a lot of half-truths and a lot of things that have been twisted to make it sound like it's a fact. The one thing that was very alarming to me was the fact that they were saying there was no science behind this. I just last week was invited as a consumer advocate and to go to a symposium in Florida that was 3 straight days of the top scientists in the world that testified for 8 hours a day. And in fact, Nora Volko, the director of NIDA, was one of the presenters. She presented for 1 hour and she presented a ton of science and explained how safe natural kratom is, in addition to actual extracts, which she used really high potent extracts in the science that she actually presented for the first time at that conference. So to say there's no science is absolutely untrue. Another thing I want to bring up is a lot of these deaths, there was one thing that was very much missing, the fact that there's never 7-OH that was brought up. If you notice, they said that the deaths had skyrocketed or whatever had gone up in 2024 and 25. That was the year when 7-OH became in existence. And so again, if you actually look at those deaths, just like Mr. Haddo said, you know, those deaths are 7-OH deaths. That is why they increase. And it's a very unstable element. And so it washes out of your body very quickly. And so what is left over is mitragynine. And so thereby you're there. And again, it's already been addressed how fentanyl has been the cause of like 96% of those deaths. So again, that was inaccurate. One thing to note too, that there was a Department of Agriculture employee that was actually at that 3-day science event. So he can actually tell you what he saw. But again, I just want to say that Kratom has been life-changing for me. I don't want to go to a smoke shop to purchase it. There should be extracts available for patients that literally cannot take the leaf powder. They have things like Crohn's disease and they can't tolerate the actual powder. So for them, extracts are lifesavers, especially a lot of those that are coming off of hard drugs to use the extracts to taper down.
Thank you.
And I thank you again for
looks like we
your
have a question
time.
for you. If
Yeah, I do.
like to
Yes,
stick
please.
around. Representative Thurston.
Thank you. Just tell me, can you tell me a little bit more about what it means to be a patient advocate? Is that a paid position?
No. So yeah. So I actually work full time as the treasurer, or I'm sorry, as the president of a nonprofit that does education. I have volunteered for the last 10 years it's been 9 years since I've been taking it. So I volunteered for about 8 years.
As president of the nonprofit, you don't get paid, or you?
No, I get paid a nominal thing, but I've only had that position for the last year because I wasn't before, but I've been volunteering for the last like 8 years with, doing a patient advocate. But the reason why I went is because I wanted to learn, because I teach people about Kratom and teach localities all over the United States.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay,
Any other questions?
who is first? In the middle there? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Danny Bordeaux, and I'm an attorney, but I come here with a unique background, and I want to talk a little bit from a layperson's point of view. So my unique background is that I've worked for 3 different drug rehabs. And the interesting thing about addiction and a lot of these substances is, and what I also learned from watching the Kratom movie, is when you take Kratom, people testify, they feel like $1 million. It feels great. That is similar to all of the other drugs that people get addicted to. And so if somebody's going to get addicted to it, what usually happens is they start out with small amounts, and then they start noticing that they're not getting the same impact. So they start taking a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's for people who are going to be addicted. That's what it feels like. There's never in their minds, especially something that's not labeled, that is not known to be harmful. They don't know. What was also interesting to me is I talked to a young person who struggles with addictions, who is in recovery right now. And I asked them, when I first heard about Kratom, I asked them, I said, do you know anything about Kratom? And they go, what's wrong with Kratom? And so those people know it's on the shelves. They know it's there. They know nothing about the dangers. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I guess I'm next. My name is Judy Jepson. I live in Saratoga Springs. I appreciate your time. I know it's late in the evening, and I appreciate the opportunity I have to talk about Kratom. I'm going to give you my personal experience with Kratom, and it actually involves my husband more than myself. He worked for Delta Airlines for 40 years, and most of those later years he was involved in the luggage department. And at 62, he went out disabled. He had multiple surgeries, 2 back surgeries, neck surgery, carpal tunnel surgery, rotator cuff surgery, elbow surgery, and replacement of both of his knees. He was in constant pain. And as a disability, it meant that he could not sleep. He could not have any quality of life. He was introduced to Kratom after a relative of ours who had had a knee replacement, or excuse me, a hip replacement, introduced him to it. And he had been taking harder drugs up until the time he tried the Kratom. Kratom offered him the ability to not take any more of the opioids and other drugs that were giving him some help. He appreciated that opportunity and lived for a lot longer without the pain that he had been experiencing. My concern is that we enforce the purity standards, control the substances, because I don't want the 7-HO available, and make sure that the dosages are controlled, and also age verification, proper labeling, and that sort of thing. I'm not willing to go to a smoke shop to purchase it, though, and I think that that's the wrong venue to be able to allow people to access it.
Thank you for your comment. Looks like, we have one question for you, Representative Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. If a smoke shop where it's regulated to make sure that only 21 and over can have access to it, if that's not the right place to sell it, where would the correct place be?
Excuse me?
You just made the comment that you said you do not want to go to a smoke shop to have to buy this. So if a smoke shop where it's regulated, where it requires you to have a proper ID, a valid ID, to be 21 and over to purchase it at the smoke shop.
What are the regulations on cigarettes at a grocery store? You still have to show ID. So why is it limited to just a smoke shop?
All right, yeah, sorry. During the committee, the questions during this part it comes from the representatives. So if you have an answer, that'd be great. We'd appreciate it.
Well, I'd like another alternative. I mean, do you regulate online purchases of certain things?
I got it. Okay.
Is it possible to do a regulation but make it available online?
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments.
Mhm.
Okay. We have a couple online. We're going to start with Joel Badger. Joel, if you could go ahead and turn your camera on and let us know your location.
My name is Joel Badger. I live in Lehigh, and I have a shop here. We're a Kratom shop. We're called Grow Kratom in Salt Lake. We're the only Kratom shop that I know of, and I am against this bill for a few reasons. This will require me to sell tobacco to sell Kratom. I think that's honestly absurd. Um, I worry that smoke shops are actually the place where the people most at risk of addiction will be purchasing. A couple other points. I haven't seen any evidence that Kratom is being sold to kids from anybody in any of these meetings. I would really like to see that or have that discussed. Colorful packaging, I don't think is quite meets that requirement. If we're saying this is being sold to kids, so I want to know if there have been arrests made. We've been extremely careful here. All the companies that I think we've kind of, like say Fill Free, we rejected them the first sample they sent us because they didn't tell us how much product was in it. They didn't tell us how much Kratom was in it. A shot like, say this Hush shot by weight and volume has less metragenine than pure leaf Kratom. That needs to be discussed. All that's happened with this is they've pulled out the fiber and they've added in a liquid instead. So 15 milliliters, which this is going to be less metragenine per milliliter than actual Kratom is. Same with, these shots, these are Kratom and Kava shot. They tell you exactly how much is on them. This has about a teaspoon of Kratom in it, but it's, 45, 60 milliliters. So I just ask that we're kept in consideration here. We've been doing things correctly. We're not a big company. We've been around for 10 years. I really don't want to see Kratom only sold in smoke shops here.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Appreciate that. We're going to go to Marianne Christensen. Marianne, go ahead, turn your camera on and let us know your location.
Sorry about that. It took me just a little minute to get the permission, the panelist permission. I'm Marianne Christensen. I'm Executive Director of Utah Legislative Watch, and I'm speaking in favor of the bill. Contrary to what Kratom producers are saying, every single testimony that I've seen of people who have lost family members to Kratom and Kratom addictions and Kratom deaths, they've all been associated with just Kratom, not Kratom mixed with other drugs. I think it's very dangerous. It's viewed by our young adults like it's just another energy drink in concentrated form. And so it's being used by them in that way, and it's very, very dangerous. I think that it's closer to playing Russian roulette than it is to just taking an energy drink. So I supported the ban. I would love to see Utah ban it. And yes, people will buy it online, but at least we won't be making it available to people through our Utah law. So thank you very much. And we vote yes.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. We're going to go to Ryan Stolworthy. Ryan, go turn your camera on. Let us know your location if you're representing anyone. And this will be the last in public comment.
And I had originally intended to have Dr. Stolworthy as part of my presentation. He's an ER doc up in Logan, but he couldn't get on before. And now that I say that, he won't be able to get on.
Ryan, go ahead and turn your camera on and join the meeting.
I think Dr. Stolworthy, are you there?
It looks like he just declined to be a panelist. You have to accept to be a panelist if you get it next time it comes up.
Let's try it one more time and then we'll move forward if not. And just as we're waiting to get him up, I just remind the committee that we do have a third substitute. I explained it before and I can explain it again.
All right, we're gonna move on. It seems like there's some technical difficulty
Okay.
there. We'll go to all right, we're gonna go ahead and close public comment and we'll bring it to the committee for action. Representative Thurston,
I move that we adopt the third substitute.
is it the first substitute we want?
Third, number three. I want three.
Three, okay. Three.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I heard wrong. Okay, take that to okay, the motion is that we adopt the third substitute. Would you like to speak to that?
I would briefly. I actually think the third substitute is not, it's less than I want, but I understand that the senator has to get what he can get. So just so people know that I would actually prefer a stronger bill than the third substitute, but I think the third substitute puts us on a path in the right direction to be able to provide some balance between some access and some regulation. So with that, I appreciate the adoption of the third sub.
Okay, we'll take it to the committee for further discussion. We'll go to the sponsor for,
I support adopting the third substitute.
okay. And to the maker of the motion.
I'll waive.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt the third substitute of Senate Bill 45. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And those against? That passes unanimously. We'll take it back to the committee for further action. Representative Ivory.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make a motion that we pass out Senate Bill 45, third substitute with a favorable recommendation.
Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, I would just briefly, looking up some of these things in the bills that we've had in front of us, FDA says there's no evidence of safe medical use, safety concerns remain. National Institutes of Health, research ongoing, pharmacologically complex, possibly promising. National Institutes of Drug Abuse, potential therapeutic compounds exist, but the risks are real. And they put it in the category of pharmacologically active compounds with cannabis, psychedelics, and herbal opioid substances. I just don't think that should be dispensed from a gas station or even a smoke shop. I think dosing and control, if I've got to go to a pharmacist and show my ID to get Sudafed to keep my nose from running, we've got people self-dosing and using this as medicine with hardly any control. And from medical professionals, we hear the risks and the deaths and the harm and the complications with other substances over and over and over again. I think this is a step. I think it's a good step. I think in talking to my colleague here, we're going to keep seeing more and more on this, and we need to get it right, but I think we need to take the step.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the committee for further discussion. Representative Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have three questions, if I could, that have come up as we went through the testimony. And I apologize if it may have been covered. I had to testify in a different committee, so I missed some of the testimony. But can you speak to how 7-OH, in several testimonies, it was discussed that it leaves the blood as you do blood tests on how people have passed away? Is that?
I'm actually going to phone a friend to make sure you get, I have medical examiner and Dr. Forsyth. Either of them can answer that question.
All of the data that I presented today was from testing for metragenine. We just recently started testing for 7-hydroxymetragenine late last fall. And so I don't have the data prepared for 7-hydroxy, or we don't have that data available to us yet.
But does it leave the body as was testified?
So metragenine is.
Sorry, can you two identify yourselves one more time?
Sorry.
Of course, I'm Megan Brockmeyer. I'm with the Utah Office of the Medical Examiner.
I'm Dr. Brandon Forsyth, Director of the Specialized Products Division at the Department of Agriculture and Food. So metragenine is converted in the liver to 7-hydroxy, but 7-hydroxy is actually very short-lived in the body, as was testified to. What they didn't say is it actually is converted to pseudoindoxyl, which is an even more potent form of a kratom alkaloid.
And you can test for that in an autopsy.
We can, we don't do autopsy tests at our laboratory. We test the products themselves, but we
Gotcha.
can identify it, yes.
We only test for metragenine and 7-hydroxymetragenine.
Okay. Sorry, that was one of my questions.
That's a good question.
Is there a safe level of kratom extract from your perspective?
That one for me?
Sure.
No. Not that there couldn't be a safe amount, as was testified to. You don't have to make a super concentrated extract. You can, but you can also make it very dilute. The bigger question is, should we? Like, is there reason to have these things on the shelf where people can take large amounts of it very easily? It's a very addictive substance, and people can start with a single dropper full and then they can graduate to kicking back multiple shots. It just seems like too big of a risk to me.
And to my third question, which goes to the good representative from West Valley? West Jordan?
West Jordan.
That's close. It was West. I feel like this may have a place, but if we pass this bill, does it effectively shut down manufacturing of this product that could be done in a different environment that maybe does have a more safe checks and balances on where it could be sold and purchased?
Let me respond to that. This would ban extracts, adulterations, and the synthetics. There's not a single manufacturer here that couldn't manufacture, produce, and sell pure kratom leaf. That's what this does. If they want to continue selling kratom in the state of Utah, it would need to be pure kratom leaf. They'd have to change their business model.
I guess my question though is, could they still manufacture it, just not sell it here in the state?
No.
Thank you, Chair Malloy.
I think I have the same question. We had testimony from 2 different businesses that I think they both said they had about 100 employees, so it's about 200 employees. Is this going to basically put them out of business, which is, I think, what their fear is? And then we also had the gentleman online who said he had a kratom store.
Yeah,
That's not a smoke shop.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would hope not, but any of these companies could produce pure kratom leaf. They could change their business model in the state of Utah. I work down in an area where there's lots of nutraceutical companies that manufacture a lot of different products, and companies evolve and they change. And certainly this would be a restriction, but as I've negotiated this bill with some of your House members, the goal was to preserve and protect pure kratom leaf, and they'd be able to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the sponsor on the motion, or just some.
Let me just read. I'll be really quick. I know this issue on extracts is going to continue to come forward, and I suspect it'll be an issue as it moves forward if this bill moves forward, and I appreciate that. I'm going to read just 2 labels from 2 products that are preferred vendors on the American Kratom Association's webpage. One is from Mint 45, one is from OPMS. One of them you saw, Mint 45 Super K Extra Strong. You've just found your strongest kratom shot, Super K Extra Strong. Every purple bottle features 1,250 milligrams of a broad spectrum extract. This shot contains a total of 12 750 milligrams of kratom extract with a total of 375 milligrams of metrogeny. I think the testimony from the experts today is that metrogeny converts into 7-OH, and that is very, very dangerous. Let me read a warning from OPMS. This is also a company prominently featured on the American Kratom Association's website. It says this is kratom extract, not raw leaf. The metrogeny and other alkaloid content in this product are multiple times greater than that of raw leaf, resulting in increased potency in extract product. As with all kratom products, do not use them without first consulting with a healthcare professional. Using metrogeny can be dangerous. There have been reports of adverse health effects associated with using kratom products. Some publications have suggested that kratom may be associated with serious potential side effects, including seizures, liver damage, withdrawal, addiction, abuse, and death. This product has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product has not been deemed fit for U.S. consumption by the FDA. That's directly from the website OPMS, which is a preferred vendor for the American Kratom Association. With that, I would urge support of the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go back to the maker of the motion.
Just briefly, I think this bill makes it marginally safer. I want to be very clear. I don't think this makes it safe. I think it makes it marginally safer, and for that, it's a step. Encourage support of the motion.
Okay, thank you. The motion is that we recommend favorably Senate Bill 45, third substitute. We'll go to a roll call vote.
Representatives Burton. Yes. Dunnigan. Yes. Ivory.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Wynn. Peterson. Yes. Roberts. Yes. Sawyer. Yes. Thurston. Aye. White. Yes. Chair Malloy. Yes. Chair Kyle.
Yes.
And Representative Ballard's online. I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the roll that passes unanimously. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
We'll entertain one final motion, Representative Peterson.
No, that was for the previous motion, but I guess I'll motion to adjourn now.
All right, motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.